Batman's never quiet.
Batman's never quiet.
I don't think Batman knows the word.
Alfred's looking at us.
Alfred's having a good time over there.
I got a blue pen that matches my outfit.
Here we go. Oh, no. Welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. My name is Robin. Thank you kindly for joining us, and happy Halloween to you and yours. Today is going to be a boom-bam-tastic show as we fight crime in downtown Charlottesville, downtown Gotham. My name is Robin, and this show is live across every social media platform known to mankind. Alfred will get the studio camera ready in a matter of moments, and if you're asking, no, I can't see a damn thing out of this mask right now. Judah, let's go to Alfred, let's go to the two-shot, and let's welcome the one, the only Batman to the program.
Batman was busy this morning helping Citizen Smith on the side of the road changing a flat tire. So Batman was almost late today. Well, that's the reason why we're kicking off a little bit late.
I'm very curious to know why Batman wants to put glasses above his bat mask right now.
Batman can't see his damn laptop.
Why can't Batman see? He's a superhero.
Well, maybe.
All right, just put those glasses on, Batman.
Maybe.
All right, Batman is putting his glasses on. Happy Halloween, Batman.
Happy Halloween, Robin. We're here to help folks with real estate questions and ask away and fight crime. And there, as we said earlier on the hot mics on the way in, we will have a special guest today, I hope. Batman has to jump up and get his bat phone to double check that. But Captain America is supposed to make a special appearance today to have a very special message for us citizens here in the... What are we going to call it, Gotham? We'll call it Gotham, in Gotham.
Johnny Ornelas goes, ay mi madre, Batman and Robin. Bill McChesney goes, oh boy, here we go. Philip Dow says, happy Halloween, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And you know what? Don't do anything Jerry Miller won't do. And I said that to my friend Dino Russell, and he said, what is that? Do everything?
At least once.
At least once. Alfred's going to get the studio cam going. We have multiple people asking us to stand up so we can showcase our entire outfits. Batman, what are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing?
What are you doing over there? You're here. This is a PG show, not a X-rated show. Make sure everything is lined up okay over there, Batman. Folks, we will still take your questions. We're wishing you and yours a safe Halloween. And remember, when Batman and Robin are on the streets, everything is safe. And downtown Charlottesville and in Central Virginia. Judah, studio camera, is that rocking and rolling? Excuse me, Alfred. Is the studio camera ready to go, Alfred?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will stand up for the friends that are watching and asking right now.
I can't tell if I'm PG or not.
You can behind the table. You're okay. You're hidden right there. Hiya! Happy Halloween to everybody. If we have fun, we hope you have fun today as well.
I have to get my cape squared away.
Oh, is that the play? Is the cape over the chair the play? You know what?
I put the cape over the chair.
That's a good idea. I'll do the cape. I can't see anything out of this thing. Oh, can you see?
Please tell me you're getting this.
Dude, I can't even get in my chair.
Okay, I think I got it. Hold on. Batman's a little too old.
I can't see. I can't see.
Alfred should get up and help us.
Is the chair? Wait, is the cape behind me?
I don't know. It looks all right.
Okay.
Looks good.
Is it okay, Alfred?
You know, that outfit fits you a little bit better than our show last year, Robin.
It's looser than last year. Robin was in the weight room.
There you go.
Robin was playing some squash and in the weight room and dropped some LBs. It looks like it fits Batman a little better as well.
But I may have stretched it a little bit before I started.
No, Batman. It's all the bicycle riding you've been doing. Speaking of bicycle riding, Alfred, I think that's a perfect cue. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Bing, bam, boom.
Ask questions. Come on, guys. Ask
Bill
questions.
McChesney says it's bim, bam, boom, like the flim, flam, flum.
Flim, flam, flum. Oh, are we going to
future land use map?
Well played.
That was clever.
We need to give a round of applause.
That was clever. Let's do that here.
Well played.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Flim, flam, flum.
Robin cannot see a damn thing out of his mask right now.
And please don't ask Batman to research anything on Paragon, because guess what? I can't see my computer.
And if Batgirl is watching here, back at Robin's house, what's Robin's wife's name?
I don't think Robin has a wife.
Well, if Robin's wife is watching right now, we found...
This Robin has a wife.
We found Robin the Third's little skateboard that we've been looking for since last Halloween. It was stuck in the costume bag of Robin's costume here. So please tell little Robin we now have his finger skateboard that we've been searching the house for an entire year. My friend, good Monday morning.
Keith and Jerry like to talk real estate on Mondays, and depending on how well focused...
Oh
my God!
Got up on the street. It's Captain America. Let's go to the studio camera. It's Captain America. Captain America.
Captain America. How you doing?
Hello,
High five, Captain America.
How are you, Captain America? Good to see you. It's Captain America.
And Captain America walked the streets like that.
How am I supposed to go to the studio camera?
Give me a fist bump.
Oh.
Good to see you, buddy.
I can't see anything.
Can you see anything out of that?
Sure.
Good. Well, guess what? You're going to do all the reading for us.
You're our eyes, Captain America. I cannot see. How are you, Captain America?
I am well.
Good to see you. Tell us how your weekend's been, Captain America.
It has been a full weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little upset that the rain for the
Halloween?
kids this morning, this
yeah.
evening. But it has been a full weekend, and it is all good.
That's great. That's great. Captain America, we have all the superheroes here.
Almost all of them. We've got a couple of them, but they're out fighting crime while us are talking about real estate. And then Captain America has a very important message for our citizens out there.
I did want to stop in and bring the Marvel to the DC Comics and say that it is everyone has a superpower, and that's voting. And everybody should vote. Vote early. Vote by mail, vote in person, but vote.
Just don't vote twice.
Vote.
Make sure you vote. What did you make of the Daily Progress's editorial on the Thornburg good election over the weekend? Did you read that?
I did. It is interesting as editorial boards change. I think is probably the best way to put it. It is a new day at the Daily Progress, and the endorsement it was almost
It was scathing.
A scathing rebuke of the current representative.
That's exactly how I read it as well. I would encourage anyone watching the show to read that. I was what's the word I'm looking for here?
Taken back.
I was taken aback, and not to offer my political ideology at any means. It's not tied to me at all. I was just, I guess, impressed that the Daily Progress took a stance like that.
Period.
The Daily Progress has, in the recent months, become much more aggressive in positioning and in their editorial voice.
Yeah,
but
very well said.
How are they doing on their reporting field? It's kind of thin, isn't it?
It's extremely understaffed.
It is thin, as is local news everywhere. However, there have been hires. I believe Hawes Spencer is a recent hire.
Absolutely.
And that's someone that certainly has a wide view of the community and depth of knowledge.
Well said, Captain America. Hawes Spencer's been doing a heck of a job. Someone tag Hawes on the show right here at the Daily Progress. Lee Elberson, hello.
Hey,
he
Lee.
loves the costumes. Who knew Batman needed reading glasses, Lee Elberson is saying right now.
Well,
Multiple people are saying, in fact, Grayson is saying Captain America looks absolutely jacked, downright diesel. Spencer is saying Captain America has a six-pack and could kick Batman and Robin's ass.
No, he brought a six-pack.
Right now. Captain America does look quite muscular.
Look at that, huh?
Well, I will say Lee Elberson, I think, would make a great Joker.
Oh, Lee Elberson, will you come as the Joker to the studio before the show is over?
Joker.
This is a question for Captain America, Batman, and Robin from Andre Xavier,
Hey, Andre.
the travel entrepreneur. He says this, and please forgive me as I take off my faux leather gloves here because they offer little to no dexterity whatsoever. Andre Xavier says the question is, what are Batman, Captain America, and Robin's predictions for the next 6 to 12 months? Will home prices continue to decline and rent go up? I am not asking about interest rates because those will continue to go up for sure. Thank you guys, and I love the costumes. Who would like to start with that?
Well, I'll jump in on that because I've been studying Mr. Smith on the inventory. Look, we're going to be about 20% down this year when it's all said and done as far as transactions are concerned, and I think that's going to continue. Batman thinks that's going to continue along, but I do want to put it in a bit of perspective. 2021 we had a 20% increase in volume. 2022 we had a decrease of 20%. So Batman's thinking that's about flat zero. It'll go up and down a little bit as far as inventory goes. But prices are still going to appreciate, but they're going to be very much so in hyper-local markets. Some markets will do better. Where Captain America lives, it might be doing outstanding. Where Batman may or may not have his Batcave, may be a little bit stable, and where Robin hangs out may also increase. So you've got to keep an eye on the local markets, and this is when you need to hire trusted advisors to come in and do that.
That was a phenomenal answer, Batman. It's like you've been sitting next to Keith Smith for a couple of weeks or something.
No, I helped Mr. Smith change a flat tire on Route 53, and he gave me a very quick class this morning, so I think I'm ready to go.
Did you hear that, Captain America? Batman changed a tire this morning.
Well, superheroes show up when you need them.
There you go. Captain America. Captain America, so your one-liners are excellent.
I know, it's so good. This is from Danville's Travis Hackworth. What's going to be the landscape on commercial development going forward over the next couple years, and what will be the best and most successful types of commercial development? Who wants to touch that one? Captain America.
Captain America, you want to tackle that?
Sure. What I'm seeing in commercial development is a dearth of shovel-ready sites for new commercial development. So we're going to see some retrofits that we've already seen some of the commercial spaces that exist to bring them up to speed and time. There may be some conversion, but what I'm concerned about is the lack of commercial availability and the need for the bricks and mortar space. I think office space is probably going to be a changing environment based upon our experience through COVID and work from home, work in the office a couple of days a week. But there are still jobs that require you to be there. And I think that piece of commercial, the office piece, will be the most interesting piece next year.
What do you think, Batman? Great answer, Captain America.
I'm gonna echo Captain America's comment. A lot of it depends upon. Excuse me, Batman is sweating down his mask here for a second. Need to wipe a little perspiration away. It depends on what commercial we're speaking of, right? So are we speaking of retail or Class A, which Captain America is talking about, or multifamily, which has been going like gangbusters as multifamily projects. So commercial, maybe unlike residential, has very different pieces to the puzzle.
Very nuanced.
Very nuanced to it. I think the retail space is going to kind of calm down a little bit, where I think some of the multifamily and the Class A space will start increasing.
Follow-up question for Captain America. Does that place a premium on historic properties where HTCs offset a huge part of the cost? Explain HTC.
HTCs are historic tax credits, and with certain adaptive reuse that is honoring the historic nature of the building, you do receive tax credits as the owner. The idea there, I think, is that it could assist, as could a hybrid situation where you're looking at perhaps office space on the first floor rather than retail, and then residential above. We've seen more and more of those coming online across the nation. Haven't seen as much in this market yet, but I anticipate that that's something that will follow.
What do you want to touch on that one over there, Batman? And more questions are coming in fast and furious right now.
I think I would never question Captain America on that subject, so I will actually defer to his opinion. But before we do that, and Batman trying to put his gloves back on, we've been talking a lot of week over weeks about there being more inventory coming on and less pending. Yeah, you doing okay there, Robin?
Where is Batman?
Batman's over here.
There we go.
Follow the voice. Follow the voice. It's interesting. Last 7 days we had 79 come on and 87 go off. So that number flip-flopped from week over week. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this roller coaster ride of inventory coming on and going off over the next couple of weeks is what Batman's prediction is.
The dynamic Sean Tubbs is getting a mention. And,
Hey.
and Sean Tubbs, I tagged you in the feed. I see you're active on Facebook. Perhaps you're watching the show as we speak here. This question comes from Bill McChesney of Rose Hill. Is it Rose Hill, Bill? I always confuse your location. He says this: did you see from Town Crier Productions, Albemarle Board of Supervisors delays final action on rezoning of Southwood's second phase?
Ooh,
Please ask Captain America
I think Captain America needs to jump in on
and
that
Batman on this topic.
Well, the bottom line for the Southwood, the folks over at the Free Enterprise Forum don't take positions on projects. This project is supported by Albemarle County with $1 million. So it's interesting. There are certain things that have to be approved, and performance. There's a performance agreement attached to those dollars. Habitat for Humanity has continued to meet and exceed the performance agreement. This is a rezoning for Phase 2 that was contained, that had issues with regard to the potential school site that the developer, which is Habitat for Humanity, remembering Habitat can be a developer in addition to doing their charitable work, that site was a bone of contention, and how long they would offer it and at what price was also a bone of contention, and that held up the rezoning previously. Sean has great reporting this morning on where that project is today. I glanced at it and I can't say that I'm versed on exactly where that is. Read to the Town Crier Productions and get the community engagement newsletter to stay up to date.
I love it. Town Crier Productions. Support Sean Tubbs. Sean Tubbs, if you're watching the program, we constantly give you props on this show. Batman, jump in here. Where are you, Batman?
I'm over here. Follow
Okay,
the voice.
okay.
Follow the voice. Follow the voice. Hey, I just want to go back to this election thing, Captain America. So what if I don't know where I need to vote? How do I do that? How do I find out where to vote? And how do I find out if I'm even registered?
You can find out all that information online. I encourage folks to go ahead and say, just Google, where do I vote? If you have any concerns, you can always email your registrar or call your registrar's office, and they will be happy to set you up. Most of the registrars are open for extended hours over the next 2 weeks to accommodate in-person early voting.
Wild Bill lives in McIntyre Municipal Park. Thank you, Wild Bill.
Thank you, Wild
Bill. I can barely see. That's why I'm nodding my head as if I was Ray Charles over here on the set of Real Talk with Keith Smith. Kelly Jackson has a question. Batman, Captain America, what is your guess, your crystal ball prediction? That could be a hint for Batman to bust out the crystal balls over there.
I'm working on it.
What is your guess, your crystal ball prediction of what the Boyd Tinsley house will auction or sell for? Did you guys see that on the I Love CVille Network last week?
I did see it, and it's a very interesting property.
I would say that.
And I would say that it will go for less today than it would have gone for 6 months ago.
Well said. Well said.
I know for a fact Mr. Smith showed that house a bunch of times when it was listed, and it is a unique piece of property.
Is the value of the land? Multiple people are asking.
Yeah, I think the land is value on it. The property's done. Most auctions usually go below what the market would have given it 6 or 7 months ago. I think there was a mistake on the original pricing to start with, from my perspective, from Batman's perspective.
Do you, Vanessa Parkhill and Earlysville, you guys are so much fun. Happy Halloween. Hillsdale is watching the program right now. And Ashley Butler says we're watching Captain America and gives the hands up emoji. Multiple folks at Hillsdale are asking Captain America to stand up
we
can see your abs, Captain America. Please do not disappoint your fans. Studio camera, Alfred. Look at how jacked. I would say downright diesel.
I think
Captain
you need to do a
America
360.
do
a 360.
Captain America is a strapping superhero over here.
Where's your shield?
In the Uber.
Did Captain America take an Uber here?
I got here in time.
Oh, very nicely done, Captain America. Questions are coming in fast and furious. Woody Fincham, the greatest appraiser in Central Virginia, perhaps the Commonwealth. Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Ooh.
But there's not many people better at real estate than the big Batman. Whoa, give you some props right there. Love it, Woody Fincham.
Well, all I've learned is from Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith, so, I'll just regurgitate what I was told.
Multiple people are saying the folks in the Southwood neighborhood are still in the dark of the redevelopment project and plans. Anyone want to touch that, besides getting engaged with perhaps Sean Tubbs and Town Crier Productions?
I would suggest that there have been, this project's been going since about 2018.
Yeah.
There have been hundreds, literally hundreds of community meetings that I've been to, at least 6 community meetings. There's a point in time where when you're in the dark about something, you need to be actually looking for the light. This project has not been conducted behind the doors, behind closed doors. This has been a wide open process, and including the Albemarle, especially because of the Albemarle County investment in it. I believe that it is a transformative project, even though we don't take a position plus or minus. It will change what was a trailer park into what will be market rate and subsidized homes, as well as a commercial sector.
So if you happen to be listening or watching this, reach out to Habitat for Humanity directly. There's a phone number, Google it, call them, say, I live here, I need answers. Batman knows some of the folks over there very well, and if you have a question, they will answer it for you. What do you think, Captain America?
I believe this has been a painfully transparent process. There are times when there have been meetings on meetings to have meetings to plan the next meeting. These are challenging times.
Haven't decided on a meeting date yet.
There you go.
This question's come in. Why the hesitation or slowdown from the Board of Supervisors with the project?
I believe the Board of Supervisors is fully vested in this project.
Yeah.
I also believe they want to get it right, and they had questions. If you have questions, you wait and get the questions answered before you get the approval, because this is the point where the board has leverage.
So Batman's going to jump in and use a term that a Sir Neil Williamson has used before: elections matter. This is why elections matter. There was also probably a change of a few Board of Supervisors since this project has started. Is that correct, Captain America?
There have been slight changes.
Actually, let's think about that.
Well,
Liz Palmer came off.
Right.
Yep.
Jim Andrews on. You've had the institutional memory of Galloway, Malik.
Correct.
And the institutional memory of McKeel. Who else came off over there here?
Well, Donna Price is in her first term.
Her first term, so she's new to it.
Right,
Yeah.
you had Rick Randolph in the first time around on
That's
this,
right.
so-
Glenmore's finest, Rick Randolph, right there.
So you do have some new faces, but you have the bones of this were decided with clarity when they went forward with the rezoning, the first part, phase 1 rezoning, and with the investment. One of the other things that's on the Board of Supervisors agenda today, or for Wednesday, is the idea of adding.
Captain America going to be there?
Captain America will be participating remotely from the Captain America shed.
This is hilarious. You have Supervisor Ned Galloway watching the program right
Ned.
now. Supervisor Galloway says, was Batman using reading glasses?
Yes. Batman forgot to put his contacts on this morning, so we're using reading glasses. I want to make sure I get data correctly because accuracy matters.
We love you on the set of Real
Ned.
Talk, Ned Galloway.
Ned Galloway would make a great Superman.
Ned Galloway,
Oh.
would you quickly hop in a vehicle and come in here in your Superman costume on Real Talk? Can you join us?
And if not, you better get one before next Halloween because you're going to be sitting here. We're going to have a rotation of special guests.
Of superheroes.
Of superheroes.
Who would be other local superheroes on the set of Real Talk?
Oh my God, there's so many of them. There's heroes out there that walk the street every day that just don't wear capes and masks that make you sweat profusely under lights. So the list would be very long. But then again, they have to be willing to put themselves in spandex and show up in front of you too.
Which is not an easy task.
That is
and
not an
I
easy
don't know
thing.
if you guys are, but I am sweating profusely right now.
Literally, I'm trying to wipe Batman's trying to wipe the sweat. These are not. I'm not crying.
Let's just
These
hope
are sweat.
Batman doesn't have to do any kind of superhero tactics where he has to raise his arms in the air. Okay, because that will scare
already starting?
the viewers and listeners. It's terrifying, Robin.
And I can't. Apparently, I can't stand up either.
Robin is sitting across from you, and he's quite terrified over here. Juan Carlos leaves this comment right here. In regards to the Southwood project, I agree with Captain America that there has been some promotion and notice from the developer. When it comes to my parents, many in the Southwood development are working at the times during many of these meetings take place that should be highlighted. And Juan Carlos also says, as a first-generation college student, first generation in a lot of regards from Southwood, certainly from my family, another thing that's flying under the radar is the massive lack of infrastructure in this corridor of Albemarle County when it comes to adding this kind of housing to the Southwood area.
So my suspicion is he's referring to transportation.
I would imagine he's referring to roads, schools, all the above.
It's more than just that. The Southwood development involves a huge amount of sewer infrastructure.
Correct.
The thing that people may or may not realize is that all of the majority of those trailers were on septic systems. Yes. So you have the developer, in this case Habitat, puts in all of that sewer and puts all of that in the ground and then turns it over to the county once it's been inspected to be proper. And then the Albemarle County Service Authority, a separate entity, maintains that. That's important infrastructure. There's a lack of sidewalks in that area. I will push back just a little bit and say there's a huge park right next door.
What's the name of that park?
Biscuit Run.
The park that ate the development area.
Captain America, is there a bit of sarcasm there in your voice?
I thought he was going to say the park that birthed tax credits. Is that what he was going to say over there?
No, tax credits were long before that.
Yeah. Okay.
But eating the growth area was a very good response from Captain America.
Keep going, Captain America.
I do believe that there are infrastructure needs throughout the the development areas, which is one of the reasons that the Free Enterprise Forum has called for lasagna when it comes to the comprehensive plan.
I love that line. Free Enterprise Forum is so good with pop culture references. Juan Carlos follows with this. He's exactly right. There aren't even sidewalks around this development. Try walking around this area. He's also exactly right when it comes to the water. These topics have not been considered. How about the schools? They're already currently overcrowded. Our students are struggling to get to school on time. While we're all for housing for people, all these other elements must be considered. Great comment from what he says could be a first-generation college student out of Southwood. Juan Carlos, I love it. Thoughts on these topics, gentlemen?
First and foremost, congratulations on being a first-generation college student. Change is hard. Change requires you to give up that you know and accept and embrace that you don't know. These plans are not yet completed. They are on paper. I do believe that you will see significant infrastructure additions as the project moves forward. It will be significantly improved from where it was. As far as the schools go, that's somewhat out of the bailiwick, but it is a critical part that 60% of Albemarle County's budget goes to schools, and that's true of just about every locality in Virginia. So the idea that schools are underfunded is somewhat of a misnomer. It may be that you're undertaxed.
Ooh, that opens up a Pandora's box.
Yeah, Captain America.
Captain America.
Whoa, threw a bomb in the table on that one.
Yes, he did.
Before we, oh boy, Captain America. We got to talk a little bit off.
I can't even read and see out of this.
Yeah.
The reality.
Let me jump in for a second, though, if you don't mind. It's important for citizens to know that the majority of the school budget is what, 60% of it comes from the local, but where else does the money come from?
No, he's saying of a fiscal year Albemarle County budget, 60% goes to schools.
Got it.
That's not 60% of schools' budget.
So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about where actually does Albemarle County's money come from?
Well, there's a great report at freeenterpriseforum.org.
Wow.
If you click on the tabs, the report
We've got
tabs,
to call this guy Neil Williamson.
You can read Neil Williamson's report that says local tax revenue, where does the money come from? It has a stork on the cover. It is clear that you get a portion from the portion of the spending for schools does come from the federal government. That's broken into two segments. Some is for what's considered education. Some is USDA, which is food services related. There is a portion about the state. But what you have to recognize from the state is a limited amount. And that was the deal that was made during the Byrd administration. We had it what was considered
roughly $4K from the Commonwealth.
Yeah, the Byrd administration said we'll take over the roads, localities you take over the schools.
There you go.
In terms of funding, and that has been the law of the land for 50 years.
So
did that answer your question?
That answered my question. I just wanted to make sure, because that comment comes up every time the citizens start talking about budgets and stuff like that, particularly school budgets, where does housing impact the schools, and where does the money come from on that end of it?
I would say housing impacts the schools.
It does, but does it? But we wanted
because
to,
housing is the predominant driver of revenue for Albemarle County as a jurisdiction.
It also is the primary driver for students.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
That's 100% right. That's why I'm a huge proponent of economic development, to alleviate the pressure of real estate taxes on citizens.
Well, I mean, I believe the Free Enterprise Forum may have written a few documents about that, about how we can move away from residential income to commercial income. Would that be correct, Captain America?
We have opined on that, but let me opine on something else that was in the news last week.
Is this K-Tech?
No.
Oh,
no.
That's coming up.
I've been wanting to talk about that.
I was going to speak of Willow Tree.
Oh.
Now
I can't wait to hear Captain America.
We all kind of jumped at the number associated with Willow Tree.
Unicorn valuation.
Unicorn valuation. Why is that business in Albemarle County? What happened that made that business come to Albemarle County?
And leave Charlottesville. Is that what we're talking about?
I would say economic development.
Yep.
What was unique about this was Mike Signer, who was on city council, was the in-house counsel of Willow Tree, while Willow Tree left the city of Charlottesville and went to Albemarle County. I found that kind of unique.
Well, that's unique, Robin. It's not the right answer.
Oh, damn it.
Oh.
What is the right
Captain
answer?
America, educate us, please.
None of the dominoes would have continued to fall had not there been an investment of about $1 million in air scrubbers. It may have been only $200,000 in air scrubbers. In air scrubbers at the Rivanna Water and Sewer Authority treatment plant.
Yeah. What are air scrubbers?
Well, back before Robin came to Charlottesville, Woolen Mills was known for its stench.
Yes.
Yep.
And the air
Well, that would be hog waller.
The air scrubbers took care of that stench and cleared it to the point that now RWSA receives one, maybe two odor complaints on almost a monthly basis.
RWSA, Rivanna Water
and Sewer Authority.
So Batman's going to jump in a little bit because he did have a development conversation with Mr. Smith. So that is air scrubbers clean the odor that comes out of the sewer plants. Unlike what's at Lake Monticello, they have not had air scrubbers put in. And if anybody is driven around Lake Monticello on a warm day down Route 618, will notice.
It smells like butt. That's what you're saying.
Batman was trying to keep this a little higher level.
Okay, sorry.
But that was directly to the point.
But that infrastructure investment, absent that, Brian Roy doesn't redevelop the mill.
That's exactly right.
Willow Tree doesn't go to the mill with the economic development assistance, and Willow Tree may still be in Charlottesville or could have gone somewhere else.
Likely somewhere else.
Does anybody on this panel know how much revenue it's actually bringing, the positive revenue it's bringing in towards Albemarle County? Would Captain America know that?
That would be difficult to project.
That would be difficult to project, but I would say that
how many jobs?
If you look back on the economic development case study that was made for what was then known as Project Daffodil, Albemarle determined that it was of value enough to put significant funds into a trail and a connection, a pedestrian connection that they paid for. I believe it was 1.2. Robin, you having trouble there?
Sorry.
Robin can't see.
Please tell me you got that on camera, Alfred. Please tell me.
But
There's a sizzle reel. Hold on a second, Captain
I
America.
can't see
I have
anything.
to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I've got to take executive producer results. Do we have that in, Alfred, do we have that? We can put that into a sizzle reel? Thank you very much. Please continue, Captain America.
the bottom line is, as I mentioned in a chat the other day, the talent, such as Willow Tree's talent, is why folks locate in the places they are. You look around and you see where the folks are centered. You see Austin, you see San Jose, you see Silicon Valley, you see some other places. Boulder, Colorado is another. San Francisco. You generally have this talent pool, and the idea of building infrastructure so that you could take on what was then literally was not a vibrant area. But now, if you look at the properties in the Woolen Mills area,
They've gentrified.
They've significantly increased in value. Whether that's gentrification or an increase in value is a I think increase in value.
Tomato.
No, increase in value is a objective term, and gentrified is subjective.
Well,
much
you
like
would say,
what
this is a great topic here.
much like what affordable housing is, right? It means different things to different people.
But
I'm sorry, Batman. Mr. Smith uses housing affordability.
Housing affordability.
If
I
you talk
apologize.
to the old guard of Woolen Mills, the OG.
Sure.
The OG would say when Willow Tree came to Woolen Mills that the OG got pushed out of Woolen Mills.
Well, 100%. And I was, as Captain America was speaking, you know, where Jerry speaks all the time on Real Talk with Keith Smith about, you know, the high-tech conversion of Charlottesville in our region, and
Silicon Valley East.
This is one of those examples, and these jobs that are in there are great jobs, high-paying jobs, which is what the county wants. But it's pushing out some of the other folks that are in that. Does Captain America agree or disagree with that?
The idea of that the county is restricting the number of multifamily units and the size of units through zoning is a very real thing. That restriction creates a bureaucratic dearth of the dreaded inventory, and that is the zoning is pushing the folks out. That's why there needs to be a comprehensive zoning change.
Batman was going to try to live look into the Woolen Mills sales data, but Batman can't see his laptop, so we're going to have to save that for Wednesday's show.
Well, let's. This is a great topic. It's resonating with people. Juan Sarmiento watching the program, the king of transportation with the Charlottesville Almore Transportation Fleet.
Thank you for all you
do.
do.
Can Keith Smith see without his signature Clark Kent glasses? It certainly doesn't look like it from my vantage
No, sir. Batman forgot his, without his glasses, Batman can't see a damn thing. I think that's Robin over there, but it could be somebody else.
Robin can't see a darn thing with a Robin superhero mask on. Here's a great topic for you here, or a great follow-up question for Captain America. Does Willow Tree, which is now majority controlled by a Vancouver, British Columbia company.
Correct.
There are, if memory serves correctly, 8 studios or locations around the Western Hemisphere. Okay, they got them in Brazil, they got them in North Carolina. The headquarters is in Charlottesville. The conversation last week was this Canadian company that now controls Willow Tree is going to consolidate, which I would say that's a great word.
Yeah, consolidate.
Consolidate locations, which I think is common sense and straightforward that they're likely going to do this.
Yeah,
I don't buy that.
You don't buy that.
I don't buy it for a
Batman.
New York minute.
You don't buy that in the era of digital and work from home, that they're not going to consolidate as Facebook is doing now. The news was released this morning that they're going to spend $900 million to get out of leases. Facebook is doing that now.
Yeah, sure.
So you don't buy that a Vancouver company is going to consolidate 8 locations across the Western Hemisphere and utilize Zoom and digital for their employees?
I believe they're going to utilize Zoom and digital for the employees, and I believe that they also find that in time, the technology, similarly to many other businesses, benefits from...
Let me see if I got something in my belt here.
Benefits from the discussion over the water cooler, as they say. There is a intrinsic value to having smart people talking to smart people because they come up with smart ideas. So there is a value to offices. Do I think they will? The concern I heard was, are they going to close Charlottesville? I don't think so, because there's a clawback within the...
Please explain that.
A clawback is when, if you back out of an agreement, the person on the other side has the opportunity to get back what they gave you. So there's a clawback provision in the agreement they have with the Albemarle County EDA with regard to the number of jobs.
That's exactly
and
right.
how long they're going to be there.
EDA?
EDA is the Economic Development Authority for Albemarle County.
Plus, we got to talk about the lease that they're in.
And,
right?
well, they're in a lease with Brian Roy, who is the owner of the mill, and I anticipate, as with anything, you could get out just as Facebook is doing at a cost. But I think the bigger import is, where does the talent want to be? Based on my limited experience with technology people, they want to be on their own for the most part, but they also want to have the opportunity to be together and play ping pong and do whatever else
Foosball.
they do.
Interestingly, Brian Roy's my neighbor. Very interestingly.
Oh, next to the Batcave? I didn't know that.
Brian Roy's our neighbor. We see him quite often. I will ask Brian Roy this. I don't want to ask. I see his fantastic better half running around the neighborhood quite often. I will be straightforward here. I would imagine, and Brian, I don't want to speak for you here, but I would imagine when he saw this news break last week, the sense or feeling he had was not a hooray. It was likely oh geez.
Shift.
Yeah, okay.
Shift.
That was a little bit of nervousness. I don't want to speak for him, but I think everyone at this superhero table would agree with that feeling.
Sure. To Captain America's comment earlier today, change is, is a difficult thing, right? Some folks react to it in different ways. I do want to jump in, though, on this remote work from home. Batman happens to know an associate producer at Viacom. Mr. Smith is related to them, and that particular individual handles all the digital content for Viacom, the whole country. And they are bringing people back into the office in droves.
Corporate America is bringing people back.
And it's very direct and very to the point. If you don't show up, we'll find somebody else who will. And they do, and it's the water cooler conversation. So this is my majority up in the New York tri-state area. Mr. Smith just happened to be up in that way to go see some grandchildren. And, during the beginning of COVID, when this Zoom town thing came in, people were buying properties in upstate New York and yada, yada, yada. And now they're panicking because they got to move back to the city to go ahead and do that. So it's a real thing. They are coming back in droves. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to lose Will and Will's.
There's no one in Charlottesville, few people in Charlottesville that are more excited about the return to the office and proponent of office space in Charlottesville than Robin.
Yes.
Okay, everyone at the superhero table knows this. I just have some trepidation, perhaps, that as this company has spent over $1 billion and is now located in a different country, that consolidation will be a topic of conversation in the boardroom. That's all I'm saying.
I anticipate it'll be a topic of conversation, and it should be. And the question will be, how do we make the most money? And is it consolidation, or what would we lose by doing that?
Well, anytime...
To be clear, Willow Tree already has a location in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So there is a there for them already. So merging those two offices is probably a much more likely consolidation than trying to pick up all these app builders here and move them somewhere else, because they won't go.
Yeah. So anytime that there
Sean Tubbs is watching the program.
Hey,
he
Sean.
just commented in the chat. We love you, Sean Tubbs. If you were here, what superhero would you be, Sean Tubbs?
Mr. Freeze.
Oh,
Mr. Freeze. Ooh, I like that.
Perhaps the Penguin? I love that superhero.
Those aren't heroes.
Oh, those
are
villains.
Not heroes. Those are villains.
Okay,
thank you, Alfred. I was about ready to chime in that if he chooses to be a villain, that's his decision.
He can be a villain.
He can identify with whoever he wishes to identify with.
Absolutely.
But that, for clarity's sake, that is not a hero. That is a villain.
Well,
but look,
considering the road races I've been in with Sean Tubbs, he could be the Flash.
That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I can't visualize that, but that's okay.
I absolutely love Neil.
That was actually horrific to visualize, to be honest with you.
He has kicked my backside in several road races over the years.
But look, in order for us to be heroes, what do we need?
Humility.
Oh, we actually need a villain. That was the answer I was looking for. We actually need a villain. What's going on there, Captain America? So, look, it's whenever, all we have to look at is Mr. Musk with Twitter, right? When a company takes over another company, there is always a clearing of house. There's always a restructuring going on.
I'm not sure that's the perfect example for Willow Tree staying in Charlottesville because Elon Musk fired the entire staff.
A better example would be that there are a number of people that probably have contract extensions mandated in their deal, in the purchase, that they'll stay on as in certain roles. And those folks would likely be folks that would not want to be moving.
I think that's a great statement right there.
So the point Batman was trying to make is anytime another entity takes on another entity, there's always some sort of shakeup. There's never a smooth transaction. But leaving Charlottesville, I don't even think is in the cards.
Well, and let's cut to the chase. Because of a true superhero in the market, Geoffrey Woodruff, we have the data science school coming.
Exactly.
$125 million donation from Mr. Woodruff, and this data science school is very near its completion in the Ivy corridor, and the students being produced from this school are undoubtedly the future of tech.
So Batman can't bet his mustache because Mr. Smith already bet his mustache on. But I bet you're going to see the opposite happen. I think you're going to see them grow. Because
you think what?
I think you're going to see Willow Tree grow. I think you're going
in Charlottesville.
I think you're going to see them grow for the very
Captain America pauses on
he
that.
may pause on that, but I think for the very reason that you just said, because there's a talent pool here that they can pull from. But that's just Batman's opinion at the moment.
The University of Virginia attracts a large number of students, some of which refuse to leave. These folks are the folks that Willow Tree.
And we like that, by the way. We like that.
God, I love Captain America so much. I love him.
And a lot come back.
That was a zing at Robin.
They leave and come back. It was a ding at Mr. Miller, I think.
At Robin. Oh yeah, excuse me, Mr. Miller. Yes, Mr. Miller, who is not here. Go ahead, Captain America.
The point being, I hope Willow Tree will grow.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it will.
It will grow here. It will grow there. It will grow everywhere in Dr. Seuss land.
Well,
I do believe all of they are positioned to be a growth company, and the data sciences school is positioned to produce people that work in such companies. So I firmly believe you will see cross-pollination on that. But the data sciences school is going to produce people that do a lot of different things. So I think you're going to see a number, especially of startups, coming out of the data science school that will need places like Woolen Mills and other places to incubate, to get moving. And they'll need that immediate infrastructure to allow high tech to occur. And where is that going to go in our community?
Well said. And I want to emphasize this as well and throw it to you here. I want to emphasize here, we all on this superhero set want Willow Tree to grow in Charlottesville. We're having a conversation for the sake of a talk show. I don't want it to be misrepresented.
Sure.
I would love if Willow Tree grew in Charlottesville.
And I think it will. I'll bet on it because we just had 2 recent purchases of 2 other high-tech companies in the last 24 months. What are they? One does wind and one does construction. What's the name of the wind company? Wind turbine.
Apex?
Apex got bought out. Did they move? They're still there.
What's the other one?
Co-construct.
Co-construct.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Apex owns their building and Co-construct does not.
That is correct.
That is a very important differential.
Captain America is 100% right. That makes a huge difference in the deal. My point that Batman's making is that these companies get bought and sold all the time. That doesn't mean they actually are going to move. So those 2 entities are still here and still working.
This question has come in from James Watson, who
Hey,
may
James.
or not be family to Batman.
We're related to his. Sometimes he doesn't admit that publicly, but we are related.
And James Watson's comment hits close to home with Robin here. He says Charlottesville and Albemarle County can gain incremental revenue from
Dora.
sports tourism.
Sport tourism.
Richmond is kicking the butt of Charlottesville with events at sports fields, courts, hosting races that bring money to local government and don't impact the schools or public services. Word on the street, Robin's buddy, Mr. Miller, is a huge fan of sports tourism as well, something that is not happening currently in Albemarle County.
But Captain America, where are these folks going to stay when they come here?
Well, there are hotels coming up, and if they need it, they will come. But there is a 3-3 tie right now on the Board of Supervisors.
Oh, here we go.
To utilize turf technology
Dardentow.
for Dardentow Park and lighting. This was one of the more heated discussions over the last year.
It was very heated.
And it ended up in a 3-3 tie, and because we have an even number of supervisors, which some have suggested isn't a good idea, 3-3 means no. So half of your supervisors want it, and half don't. You get nothing.
Well, let's talk about that.
I believe developer Brian Roy watching the program literally as we speak. Brian, give us a little. Oh, there's another little treat in Robin's gloves here. They haven't been worn since Halloween. Oh, it's a crayon.
Look at that.
We found a skateboard, and I think Robin's son has been wearing his gloves. It's a crayon. I literally had no idea this was in here. Brian Roy, ask some questions if you do not mind, neighbor, on Real Talk here with Keith Smith.
And by the way, Batman's always ready for real estate questions because he's been trained by Mr. Smith. So any real estate questions, chime in. And look at that. It's a green crayon, too.
It's green and
orange. Look at that,
green
huh?
And orange.
It's a green lantern. It's a
green lantern.
Robin's son was playing with this costume last night.
All right.
As
there you
we
go.
prepared.
There you go. We got an extra treat in your gloves there. Look, it's interesting. I was going to ask Captain America if he knew what the opposition was about. Why did they oppose that for?
The opposition...
Cascadia light pollution.
Light pollution is one. The other is there had been some turf fields owned by a large educational university nearby that were torn up and disposed
Virginia
of
Tech?
inappropriately. Or at least some would say inappropriately. They were following the law, and the law has since changed. And that caused great heartache to one supervisor. And so they said, well, you can't dispose of these fields in any proper way. And in fact, you can. And they do have a certain lifespan. But the reason for the fields is you can get more play, and the reason for the lights is you can get more play on a turf field. Now, Neil Williamson's daughter played club soccer in college and didn't love the turf fields because she was a goalie and they got a little bit of the rash from that.
Yeah.
In football, it wasn't nearly the big deal for them because they were offensive linemen and they weren't running up and down.
Neil Williamson's son was a talented offensive lineman for the William and Mary tribe, which is very different what the strawberries or the turf rash will do for a soccer player versus a football player.
Correct. And so and there are great turf fields. You don't have to go far to find them. And they're utilizing sports marketing, be it Richmond, be it Pole Green. I remember going to a tournament there. They have 18 fields in a floodplain. And it's all turf and all lit. And guess what? They make money.
Brian Roy is watching. He says, great conversation here on the Woolen Mills.
Thank you.
Maybe
Batman and Robin and
here.
Captain America are trying to serve the community.
We gave you some props, Brian Roy, on a fantastic development of Woolen Mills and the wool factory. We also were wondering, having a conversation about Willow Tree and the unicorn valuation and purchase and whether Willow Tree would be there long term. And we all said that we hope Willow Tree is there long term.
And grows.
And grows at the wool factory and remains a long-term tenant because we see the value of Willow Tree and the wool factory for not only Elmore County, but Central Virginia in totality.
So back to the soccer field. So what's the positive side, Captain America?
Well, the positive side is the playability, the length of time. There's a life cycle for a turf field is about 10 years, maybe 8 to 10. I can't remember what the current.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
But you can play on it when it rains. You can play on it if it's done right. You can play on it pretty much all the time.
Here's the problem. If you're going to host regional soccer tournaments,
this is what I was
the games have to happen not just during daylight hours to accommodate the critical mass of teams for a regional tournament.
So,
and the beef is, being straightforward, here's the straightforward beef. The neighborhood across the street is Cascadia. We're talking some high-dollar homes, as we all know here. And the concern with that neighborhood is traffic, noise, and light pollution that would come with a lighted area of fields. The reality is the county desperately needs this. Desperately needs this. The kids are playing. My kid practices there. They're playing. You know where I'm going to go with this. The kids are currently playing soccer in goose poo.
Yeah.
Literally goose poo on the field. That's literally happening right now.
So where Batman was trying to go with Captain America was the revenue side of things, and so Mr. Smith's youngest daughter is a former Division I athlete, and we traveled all over the state, all over the Eastern Seaboard, or for events from the time she was 6 years old until she graduated her master's degree at JMU. And I can't tell you how much money we spent on it, on travel,
especially
hotels.
with Richmond, Virginia kicking our butts. And look, we have Danville watching, and Brian Roy says this: I did not get stock in rent, unfortunately, at the Wolf Factory. We love that about you. Travis Hackworth in Danville is saying Danville is prepping for a massive sports tourism campaign right now. We're trying to get sports tourism. Captain America.
Well, remember, what problem are you trying to fix? Because if you go to the hotels, they don't have any problem with their weekend occupancy.
In this region, that is 100% right.
I'm telling you, as a vacation destination, as a wedding destination, as a football game destination, as a volleyball game destination, the weekends are not the problem. Really, what they need to do is get people in those rooms during the week. So, while sports is sexy, and I have a personal feeling,
we love sports.
Yeah. And the investment is not that high for the fields that you already own the land.
Right.
But
you're saying it's not going to drive necessarily incremental revenue.
It's not going to drive the incremental revenue that you're thinking of, whereby if you had something that would drive people in with regard to the midweek stays.
Convention center.
So Batman was just going to jump in. Does Captain America think UVA's convention center is going to help with that?
Well, and to counter what Captain America said, more hotels could be built to accommodate weekend traffic.
So Batman has spoken to Mr. Smith about that and has some specifics. But let's see what Captain America has to say.
The conference center that the university is proposing or is building includes hotel rooms. Yeah. And I anticipate it will exceed the need for hotel rooms will exceed the capacity they're building. Therefore, there will be a need for more hotel rooms.
And a little tidbit of potential, let's call it be breaking news here. The team behind Boarstead Resort will be managing the UVA hotels and convention center right there.
Because who owns
the University of Virginia Foundation does.
Yeah.
So, and it's in close proximity to the resort.
And it's also just a darn good idea. Those folks really know how to run an. If you've spent any time there, you know how to. They know how to run an operation like that. So Mr. Smith knows a little bit because he was sharing to me as I was changing his flat tire that there are a couple of hotels that are trying to go through the process or getting ready to submit to go through the process on that, which could boost the hotel rooms by anywhere between another 500 to 1,000. But those are going to take some time, Captain America.
Those will take time, but we have had incremental increases in hotels in the last 5 years.
Absolutely.
We've seen it continue to go. And again, do you fix the weekend travel, which is the sports? I mean, I know I've traveled thousands of miles.
Me too.
Chasing baseball for my son and soccer for my daughter. And it is one of those things that you find yourself in some very interesting hotels over the years. And it's because we're late to the game because, well, didn't expect to win those 2 games. We thought we'd be going home. So glad we packed a bag, and here we go, and we're going to be playing on Sunday.
But, you know, when someplace like Roanoke or Lynchburg can handle these type of events, it shouldn't be that difficult for us.
100%.
It's not the handle. We have that traffic now. Roanoke and Lynchburg don't have that traffic now. They have weekend capacity that they need to fill. And the sports marketing is a great way to fill that need. If you're full on the weekends, what are you doing but creating, oh my gosh, an inventory problem?
Yeah, but okay.
Well,
devil's advocate.
Batman
for
happens
America.
to know the hotel owner of the hotel that's built to Holiday Inn over on Pantops, a brand new hotel that's going to build there. They are running weekday occupancy up in the 50+%, which is huge in the hotel business. The weekends are 100%, of course.
Right.
But so the hotels, I just think there's a shortage. Batman thinks there's a shortage of hotel rooms.
No doubt about it.
Which is also putting pressure on the Airbnb thing, which I want to throw out there.
Well, let me throw one more thing out to you. If you visit some of the western Albemarle areas and see the wineries and the wedding venues that are out there, and you think, oh, this is a great place for a wedding. Where do your guests stay?
Oh, yeah.
There was a hotel discussed to be
In Crozet?
in Crozet, and why did it not get done?
People didn't want it.
Not that just people didn't want it. Bank wouldn't finance it. Because where does that hotel belong? It belongs at the interchange.
Yes.
And county zoning code will not allow it to be at the interchange.
Okay, in regards to the low-hanging fruit that's sports tourism, I would think it's much easier to capture low-hanging fruit for the weekend, sports tourism, than it is to create a brand new market of convention business during the week. Convention business during the week.
I disagree with that.
I would change the word from convention to conference.
There you go.
Conference.
That I
Conference
would agree
business during the week.
because Captain America may agree or disagree with this. It's back, right? They're back. Conventions are back. Mr. Smith is traveling a couple of times in November for some of his volunteer organizations. They're back. They're back in a big way, which they were not obviously for 2 years. So where can we have this in Charlottesville?
Well, UVA is going to have one.
Regional Housing Partnership, right? Wants to do we're doing an in-person seminar, for lack of a better term, in March. We're limited to 150 people because the only space that can go to is at the Omni. If we had a larger space, we'd be able to grow the participants.
Comments coming in fast and furious. Waynesboro's Kevin Yancey. Charlottesville and Albemarle County basically turned up their noses at manufacturing coming out of the 70s. We used to have multiple 1,000 plus employers in the city county. Instead of reaching out to try to keep them, they'd rather have the business close and sell the real estate for overpriced commercial rentals or homes. And he also says from the 80s through the 2000s, Charlottesville and Albemarle County were destinations for adult softball tournaments. Adults would pay a premium to the city and county to play on the fields. Dart and towel fields were built. The entire adult league begged for lights, and then homes were built, but now we can't do that. But now we have to do it with taxpayer money. So he's highlighting the softball tournaments that were once here. Captain America, this is from Katie Pearl.
Hey, Katie.
I had my wedding reception at King Family Vineyard in 2013, and we had to choose hotels in downtown Charlottesville. Obviously, no good options in Crozet. I can add to that, we got married in 2017, and our guests had to stay in downtown Charlottesville, and our wedding was in Albemarle County, 25, 30 miles away from downtown Charlottesville.
So Mr. Smith can add to that. When my oldest daughter got married, we had the same thing. They were at Panorama Farms, and we actually had to, which was a great tool. We used Albemarle County's school buses and paid them to move folks from downtown Charlottesville out there safely back and forth.
In regards to the sports tourism, and I'll throw this to Captain America, if we don't capture those dollars will go to competing jurisdictions.
Yes, and one needs to remember, what is your goal? If your goal is incremental revenue, is sports tourism the best tool to achieve that goal?
But does it have to be a zero-sum game?
It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game, but you do have to focus on something.
That's fair. That's fair. Perhaps the focus then should be hotel development.
So what's the alternative, Captain America and Robin and the folks that if we don't grow that, what's going to happen to residential taxes and residential
that's where I'm
expenses?
going for. That's my worry,
right?
Captain America.
And if that's each community needs to make its own decision. So if it collectively the decision that is made is that we're okay with that, then we're okay with that.
Because I mean, I make the analogy, and I've gotten permission from Robin's mother, or excuse me, from Mr. Miller's mother to bring this up. My parents, Robin's parents, Jerry's parents. This is very difficult. Jerry's
Your
parents.
schizophrenia is not working so good today.
Jerry's parents had a successful career in accounting, and now they are retired and are on a set budget. And last time I had FaceTime with my mom a few times ago, I said, "Mom, you're no longer dyeing your hair." It was completely gray when she previously dyed it. And she said, "We're on a fixed budget. Inflation's really hit us hard, and I chose to cut this out to help with the family budget." And this is from a parents that are fiscally responsible and did very well. Okay, so I can't imagine folks that are, what's a good description here, in a tight financial position. what
they're
they're
not
going
as
through now.
blessed as your parents at the moment.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not
That's
as
my
blessed as
point.
your parents. Yeah. My parents are the same way. A lot of it has to do with, when you hit a certain age, you start, I remember Mr. Smith having this conversation with his mid-80s parents. We didn't expect to live this long, right? They didn't expect to live this long, so they're tightening their belts a little bit.
The reality is that taxes are a burden on everyone. The other reality is there are significant programs for elderly and disabled in every locality in Virginia.
So
I strongly encourage anyone who has challenges to reach out to the treasurer's office and find out about these programs, because some of them, your taxes come due May or April 15. Your application for relief has to be in by December 31.
So let's talk about that, Captain America. Thank you for bringing that up, because as being superheroes here, we're going to start on Mr. Smith and Mr. Miller on Real Talk with Keith Smith, start talking about in the next month about the process through that. So let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of people don't know that there is certain relief. My parents have the ability to have certain relief because of their age and their health, and they're veterans on that end. You want to talk a little bit about how that process works, sir?
It's different in each locality. But in general, the treasurer's office is a good place to start. They, or the commissioner of the revenue, they have the ability. Neil Williamson has served on some of the committees that looked at the language they were using in brochures to make certain that because this was a time when they were still doing printed brochures that they would have at the counter to get out to people beyond a web page or the rest. These are real things. They are ads that run. They're small ads, and they're not necessarily run by a highfalutin advertising agency. They tend to be driven by the staff of localities,
they're not marketing people by trade. Miss Batman can say that, but the reality of it is it's a pretty highfalutin, right? It's a very short window, though, right?
It is a very short window of opportunity to apply. If you are in a position where you feel you may need help, ask for help.
Well, this is a comment from Leslie who's watching the program. She lives in Woolen Mills. We should not need help to stay in the home we chose to build a long time ago. Kevin Yancey put something similar here. Leslie says, we've lived in this home for all our lives. We shouldn't be asking for help to stay in our homes. We empathize with that comment, Leslie.
Oh, very much so.
Kevin, we see the comment as well from you as well. Katie Pearl, if you're a 100% disabled veteran, you are able to have your real estate taxes waived in Albemarle County. That's good news there from Katie Pearl. The reality is,
Katie, it's actually 70% on the federal side. So those who are not familiar with it, Mr. Smith happens to be a disabled vet. So for those who are vets and who are disabled, please make sure that you reach out to the VA and take a look at it. There's benefits on the state and the federal side too.
Supervisor Galloway, who's a superhero in and of himself, puts the link in the I Love CVille chat box for real estate tax relief. So if you'd like the link, Super Ned, good job, Super Ned. He shares the link for tax relief in the chat box on the I Love CVille Facebook page. Multiple people are saying that they find living in this area. In fact, I'm seeing it on, the show airs on 15 Facebook pages. I'm seeing it on 4 different Facebook pages, feeling disheartened of having to ask for relief or feeling pushed out of their homes in this area. And we empathize and sympathize, but it's important to have a strategy because this is going to worsen. It is not going to get better.
Well, most people...
You agree with that, Batman?
Very much so, and this is why Mr. Smith volunteers so much of his time, and I know Mr. Williamson volunteers and does a lot of work to try to help grow the base other than residential tax base on that. And I know Ned is doing the best that he can too. I've sat in meetings where he's trying to promote that. Look, the other thing is, and maybe Captain America might have this stat or disagree with me or agree with me on that, historically, Charlottesville has been is usually around the second most second highest cost of living in the state of Virginia. I haven't checked it in the last couple of years.
I don't know if that's right,
It's generally up there.
It's in the top 5 generally.
Generally in the top 5.
Yeah, because I would say some of those jurisdictions
Batman's
around
data.
D.C., Northern Virginia are
Well,
higher.
You're going to see Loudoun, Fairfax,
Yeah.
Henrico, McLean, and Falls Church, which for years had Volvos as their police cars. Literally. I understand there was a Volvo dealership, Don Beyer, who's now in elected office, in Falls Church, but did they have to have sunroofs?
So Batman is drawing a big circle around Northern Virginia and calling that as the one region. So you're 100% right. We're within the top 5 for a small several jurisdictions. So in any event, not that that's any solace to anybody, but we are a little high on the cost of living.
James, watching the program, please ask Captain America if the stranglehold of a certain party in this area is contributing to the tax burdens of those that live in the area. I have a feeling Captain America is going to pivot to this. That's why elections matter. Is that what Captain America is going to do?
Batman's going to jump in. That is why elections matter. But there are a couple of rules on Real Talk, and that might cross one of them. So we'll go ahead and say elections matter. Get out there and vote.
The reality is that there are elections every year in the state of Virginia, and every other year you get to elect local officials. In this coming year, there will be 3 members of the Board of Supervisors up.
That's in
2023.
2023. Sorry,
Yeah.
2023. The thing that I see most, and that Captain America believes strongly, is that the country is better when we have contested elections.
Well said. Absolutely well said.
So, Captain America, do we have any local jurisdictions up for election, seats up for this year?
No.
Yeah.
So
next year, interestingly, 2023 is an off year. And generally, when it's an off year, you don't have a governor's race, you don't have a congressional race.
But you don't have a ton of local races.
You do, but generally an off year, turnout is pretty meager.
Sure.
Yes.
So we'll see how that plays. Katie Pearl is laughing while watching the show with Captain America's anti-Swedish-made vehicles commentary. Katie Pearl, we love you, KTP. Captain America did seem to not like the sunroofs in the police vehicles in Northern Virginia.
The question is, what do they need them for? That's a great question for that.
That's a very good question right there. This topic has come in. Does Captain America have to take on the open school board seat in Albemarle County? I can offer some perspective on this. David Oberg resigned unexpectedly on Thursday evening at a school board meeting.
Effective December 31.
Effective December 31. The school board currently is accepting applications to fill that seat. That process is ongoing. And I think in the next couple weeks, don't hold me to the exact date, but roundabout in the next couple weeks, they will make that decision. And whoever fills Oberg's seat on the school board will maintain that seat through close of business December 31, 2023. And it's for the Whitehall District.
Correct.
So talk about that, Captain America. How does that actually happen? How is somebody who resigns from that, does the body get a chance to pick who it wants?
School board
how
does.
does this
and
work?
Mr. Oberg is coming on the I Love CVille show soon.
The reality is that when there is a vacancy, the entity, the board or in council, has the opportunity to fill that space with an interim person that meets the criteria for the candidate. So you couldn't put someone who lives in the Rio district in the Whitehall seat. They need to have Whitehall representation. That being said, the application process is open now. It is a 1-year commitment. You do not have to run for the seat after that. It is a great opportunity to have a smaller commitment into what it would be an appointed office. School board matters. They spend 60%. They spend 60%
Hugely
of
matters.
the Albemarle County budget, and it's the education of the kids.
That's exactly right.
Now, the challenge in Virginia is school boards also become advocacy tools for the schools because they can't raise revenue. It is a structural problem that we've highlighted often. That being said, this position does need to be filled, and hopefully a thoughtful person from the community will step forward.
I've reached out, and I talked about this last week, to Steve Harvey, Steve Harvey said he's watching very closely and speaking with neighbors of whether he will fill this seat or apply. Excuse me, the words are apply for this position. I had a conversation with a teacher from Albemarle County via text this morning. I won't say who it was, but I believe she is watching right now because her Facebook is showing she is active. And her thoughts were that the school board was going to choose a like-minded individual from the Whitehall district that fits the all Democratic ideology on the board. That's what her thoughts were.
So, Robin, I'm a little confused. Do you have Jerry Miller's cell phone there?
I do have. Robin was trusted with Jerry Miller's cell phone. Yes.
Well, I have Mr. Smith's too.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works.
Captain America needs no phone.
I love when you come here.
The reality is, yes, the board will select someone that they can work with. And the board will likely select somebody who, if the previous member was not contentious, represents the previous member's positions.
Right.
In general.
And
that is in general. And I think that you're going to see that opportunity go away very quickly. If you're going to apply, you should apply. I think it's open for 2 weeks. Maybe it's 3.
Brittany Gray, watching the program,
hey,
she
Brittany.
says Steve Harvey would make a great advocate. Katie Pearl says this: it would be very difficult for someone of a different party affiliation to be placed in the seat on the school board with the current board that's in place. I think there's some truth to that. This is what I'm following closely, and you're looking at some political junkies here, people that just lap this stuff up. I know these guys certainly do. I certainly do. What I find interesting is this. The window of application is so narrow, and the term is only 1 year. I can't imagine the application pool is going to be deep.
Yeah.
And we already know that Steve is going to run for school board. So if he's able to somehow fill this spot, this would be a great springboard into a general election for school board for Steve Harvey.
Well, from a practical perspective, he gets a
taste. It's like a tryout.
Well, what he does is he gets his education.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah, he gets an education.
You may be surprised at the pool of applicants.
And the brand awareness. Does Captain America have some information there?
No, but I do know.
Whitehall District, you're connected there?
Whenever we talk about schools, people get excited.
Well,
certainly now. Schools are the hot topic of every election now.
But it touches people's lives more directly than local government. As Robin was saying, we're all our superheroes and our alter egos, or vice versa, are all political junkies. We watch this stuff quite closely.
This is local politics are my Netflix.
Well, all politics are local. And all real estate is local, by the way. Since this is a real estate show, we'll kind of bring it back around to that a little bit. But the reality of it is, our children. We're passionate about our children, and I think Captain America might be right. I think you might see more folks show up for that than if this was a board of supervisors seat, frankly.
I mean, very well could be. Multiple people are taken aback, if not dismayed, that political parties are associated with school boards.
In general, across localities in Virginia, they're not. They're nonpartisan elections. That being said,
why are they in Albemarle? They're not. They're very much politically affiliated.
I can tell you in other jurisdictions around here, they're also politicized.
Why is that?
Sometimes they don't want to say they're political. They're absolutely political.
Absolutely.
Any elected position is political.
Well, Batman is for years of.
Why can't they just run as independents? I mean, maybe that's a naive question.
Well, and many school board members do. I can tell you Diantha McKeel ran as an independent. She ran as an independent when she ran for the Board of Supervisors. I believe Ned Galloway ran as an independent when he was on the school board.
Is that right there, Ned Galloway? Chime in, please.
If I recall, if Mr. Smith recalls a conversation that he spelled Batman, I believe you're right. Batman's always believed in a couple of things. One, I don't believe in even boards. I never did.
Well, school board's a 7-person board.
I don't disagree. I understand that. And then the second thing is it should be devoid of party. It should be local.
There is not a Republican or Democratic way to teach children. There's not a Democrat or Republican way to fill a pothole.
That's what the moms are saying here.
The idea here is that you need to do the homework. There's a lot of homework with school board.
You know, citizens to show up and be citizens.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a party to anything. Just be a citizen and give the best of yourself to our community, and that's what we need to do.
Well, Ned Galloway's offering some insight here. They have to run as independents. Political parties in Albemarle have endorsed candidates, and that's why folks see them as political. And Ned Galloway says cannot run for school board party affiliated in Virginia, although the candidates are endorsed by parties.
You got another crayon in that glove?
No, I mean there's my kid.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you for being
I
here.
had that. I clearly had that in my head, but I couldn't enunciate it the manner you did. Thank you.
Okay, so Supervisor Galloway, who's
but that's
watching
not the
here.
same for the Board of Supervisors.
No, it's not the same.
Only,
for the Board of
so
Supervisors.
we want to make sure folks understand that it's specifically to the school board. The school
All
board is
across Virginia.
And then why can't we do that at the local government body?
You can.
Supervisor Galloway, let me ask you this question.
Because
Why?
it's interesting, because there's certain jurisdictions, and we won't name names and jurisdictions because elections matter, because contested elections matter. But if somebody is endorsed by a party and there's nobody, it's an automatic bunt, right? They automatically move forward. Is that not correct?
I mean, that was what I was going to ask Supervisor Galloway. If someone, Robin's glove, Supervisor Galloway, if someone runs as an independent, but then
for the Board of Supervisors or for
school board,
for
school board, if someone runs as an independent, which it sounds like you have to, Supervisor Galloway is explaining to us.
Thank you for clarification.
You run as an independent, but then you take the backing and endorsement and fundraising dollars of a political party. Are you then not assuming that political party's affiliation and or ideology and or branding?
That's the dirty secret. The secret party affiliation. But I think that it is clear, the law is very clear that school boards are independent races. You do not run on a party
My
basis.
comment was more along the Board of Supervisors side of it, that you know, because you have to get come on, help me out, Captain America, signatures
200.
Well, it depends on the jurisdiction.
Depends on the jurisdiction.
And how many voters there are, so forth and so on. But if I get the endorsement of either party, do I still need to get those signatures?
I believe you do.
Yeah, okay.
I believe you still do, and in general, those signatures are not difficult to get.
No.
It is, and it's a great thing to have.
Because it makes you talk to people.
It doesn't say that you're going to vote for this person, but you're saying they should be on the ballot. That's all that signature says, and I think it's critically important that we have people on the ballot. And the main reason I came down today, people vote.
Captain America is getting more questions here. I love when Captain America comes, and I'm very mindful of the time here, but I'm having too much fun to stop it. Alfred's going to have to give us a heads up.
Yeah, because Batman can't see the clock,
Okay,
so I
it's
have no
about
idea what
11:45,
time
but we're having a good time here. Supervisor Galloway says that in reality cannot accept an endorsement and not claim affiliation with those who endorsed you. So this is good knowledge from Supervisor Galloway. This is Katie says, let's be honest. There are so many social issues presenting themselves in schools. I think most people would like to know if they're voting for someone with similar values. I think that's very true. I think that if any candidate is considering running as an independent for school board or board of supervisors, perhaps there's one on the set, folks would realize or see through anyway that independent status and the 2022 version we live in of society where everything is pretty crystal clear.
So to go back to Captain America's contested elections matter, I believe Mr. Williamson and his organizations put together debates, and that's the proper place and location to have that conversation. Is that a fair statement, Captain America?
That is a very fair statement, and it is where we have substantive discussions about the issues of the day rather than shouting matches.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But if they're not contested, that never happens.
Well, no, Free Enterprise Forum and Town Crier Productions hosted a debate with uncontested candidates.
Yeah, but that's because they were able to get them to show up. But if I'm an uncontested candidate, I don't need to show up. I'm going to get elected no matter what. If I get one vote, if I vote for myself, I get elected.
That's true.
And that's the problem with uncontested.
Can you count on that vote?
Well, Mr. Smith has to learn how to. Mr. Smith is a Marine. Sometimes he's difficult in reading. So, Mrs. Smith, forget about it.
This is a great comment that's come in. Why is it fair that a school board of 6 Democrats gets to fill the spot?
It's the law.
Because they were elected, and elections matter.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's the law. It's the way it's broken down. If they were all Republicans, it would
Be the same law.
It'd be the same law.
Good show today.
It's a great show. It's a great show. You know, I can't wait for Mr. Smith to get back here because Batman and Robin and Captain America need to go out and defend the city and fight crime and maybe do a little real estate on the side and do some blogging on the side and do some awesome marketing and branding on the side. I'm trying to tie it all in, guys. I'm trying.
You're doing a good job, Batman.
I'm trying.
Keep up the good work.
The sweat is just like pouring down the cowl.
We got a little bit of breaking news that's coming during the show here. The Charlottesville Police Department has confirmed that the individual arrested in connection with the fatal shooting of the downtown mall is now under custody.
In Tennessee, correct?
Yeah. 2 people were involved in an altercation. The man is arrested in Tennessee and currently being extradited to Virginia.
Well done, Charlottesville PD. Well done, fighting crime. Well done.
I love it. Charlottesville Police Department, we stand by you.
Well done.
Yeah, very well done. Any closing thoughts, superheroes?
Vote.
Please get out and vote. Elections matter. Contested elections matter. You know, if you're interested in the open seat for... I'm trying to close here, and Robin's trying to...
Put the straw in his mouth.
Okay, Robin, I'll wait for you to take a sip.
Okay,
Then
go
ahead, I'll close. I've lost it. Batman also has ADD, so he lost it also. Look, guys, thank you to Captain America coming on. It was a last-minute notice and request, but this was important. Be a superhero. Vote. That is your superhero power. Vote. Please vote. Only vote once, but please vote on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, right?
I love it. Yeah, the 8th, November 8th. Can't wait. Beth Hyder, you guys are too much, and we miss seeing Neil Williamson around. We love when you watch the program, Beth. A lot of folks watching today's show.
Well, Neil Williamson is floating around somewhere.
Batman, Captain America, Robin, Alfred, can we get you on camera real quick because you're looking quite dapper? I know that's putting a little bit of pressure on you. Alfred's the man behind camera.
And Bat Dog's in the cave.
And Bat Dog's in the cave. Multiple people have said Bat Dog appears to be the only superhero with any kind of vision on today's set. This is Real Talk with Keith Smith. All the shows are archived on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Thank you kindly for enjoying the show and humoring us as we brought a little bit of fun to Halloween. The I Love CVille show is up in approximately 42 minutes. Alfred is on camera right there.
Look at Alfred.
Indeed.
Look at the man bun. I love it. You look good,
That's
Alfred.
not a man bun.
That's not a man bun? Is it a ponytail?
It's just a ponytail.
Oh, it's a ponytail.
Yeah.
Looking good,
Thank
Alfred.
you.
All right, we're out of here. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain America. Thank you, Robin.